All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful lines in movie history. A simple phrase that, honestly, holds a deep philosophy for life itself. Let's get right into it.
So, this line comes from The Shawshank Redemption, of course. It's what Andy Dufresne says to his friend Red. It's just such a stark, simple choice, delivered with this quiet determination, and there's a good reason this line has stuck with people for decades.
Because here's the thing, this goes way beyond just a character's decision in a prison yard. It's a fundamental challenge thrown at every single one of us. It's a philosophy that really forces you to look at your own situation, your own walls, and decide how you're going to respond.
And that's really the core question we're going to dig into today. We're going to unpack this choice by looking at the two paths it presents, using some powerful stories from the film and one pretty incredible true story.
Okay, so first, let's talk about the darker side of this whole choice, getting busy dying. And you know, this isn't about a physical death, it's about a spiritual one. It's about giving up, surrendering, and letting your spirit get locked up, even if your body isn't.
And wow, Rat just explains this concept so perfectly. He's talking about actual prison walls, but this can apply to pretty much any negative situation, right? A bad job, a toxic relationship, a belief you have that holds you back. Think about it. First you fight it, then you just kind of tolerate it, and then before you know it, you actually can't imagine your life without it. You start depending on your own cage.
And honestly, there is no better, or maybe more tragic, illustration of this than the character of Brooks. After 50 years in Shawshank, he gets parole. You'd think he'd be thrilled, right? But no, he is terrified. The world outside has changed so much. But more importantly, he's changed. He's become institutionalized.
I mean, just listen to what Brooks himself says here. For him, freedom is just pure chaos. The prison, the very place that stole half a century of his life, is the only place left that makes sense. His entire identity has been shaped by those walls, and now he can't exist without them. His fear of the unknown is just total, so he chooses despair. He gets busy dying.
Okay, but then there's the other path, the defiant, the resilient, the hopeful path of getting busy living. And for that, well, we have to look at the guy who said the line in the first place, right? Andy Dufresne.
You know, from the moment he walked in, Andy was just different. Red describes him as having this quiet confidence, this inner world that the prison just couldn't break into. He absolutely refused to let Shawshank define who he was. That invisible coat, that was his hope. And man, he wore it every single day.
And this inner freedom, it all leads up to one of the most beautiful, unforgettable scenes in movie history. Andy locks himself in the warden's office, and instead of giving in to fear, he decides to blast this incredible opera duet over the prison's PA system for everyone to hear.
And this right here just illustrates the point so brilliantly. For just a couple of minutes, that music makes every single prisoner feel free. It reminds them that there's a whole world beyond the stone and steel. It's proof that even in the most hopeless place on earth, you can carve out a little space for beauty, for hope. You can make the walls disappear, even if it's only inside your own mind.
So let's actually put these two philosophies right next to each other, because it really is a choice between two completely different ways of facing down the hard stuff in life.
So on one side, you've got Brooks. He's defined by his past, and he's totally paralyzed by fear of the future. He wants comfort in what's familiar, even when that familiar thing is a prison cell. And on the other side, you have Andy. He never, ever loses sight of the future. He holds on to this unbreakable hope, and he is literally willing to crawl through hell to get free. But you know what? The power of this idea isn't just something you find in a movie. This choice, this fight, it is very, very real. Let's shift gears and look at a real-life story that is an incredible, almost unbelievable testament to the human spirit. 14. That's how old an activist and ex-honoree named Anthony Ray Hinton was when prosecutors first tried to give him the death penalty. I mean, can you even imagine facing that? Imagine those walls closing in on you when you're just a kid. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
And yet listen to what he said after spending 30 years on death row for a crime he didn't even commit. He is so crystal clear. He sees the exact same choice that Andy Dufresne did. There's no middle ground. You either choose to live or you choose to let your circumstances kill your spirit. He got it. Even facing death, he knew the real battle was happening inside his own head.
Look, he doesn't pretend the pain wasn't immense. He missed out on everything, proms, high school. His entire youth was just gone. He admits how crushing it all was. But he absolutely refused to let that pain be the final chapter of his story. While he was on death row, he started a book club. He used his imagination to travel the world in his mind. He made a conscious decision every single day to say his life was priceless and to get busy living, so that when he was finally free, he could dedicate his life to fighting for other people. That is what getting busy living looks like in the real world.
Okay, so we've seen this choice play out in a movie, and we've seen it in real life. So the last thing to do, really, is to turn that question back on ourselves.
Because here's the ultimate takeaway, right? A lot of the time, our prisons are the ones we build ourselves. They're built out of fear, out of routine, out of the belief that things can't ever change. But the freedom, the choice to get busy living, that also starts right there, in our own minds. It's about making a choice, every single day, to find that opera music, to put on that invisible coat of hope.
And so that's really what we want to leave you with. When you're facing your own challenges, your own walls, whether they're big or small, the question is for you, are you getting busy living or are you getting busy dying? The choice, as always, is yours.